Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of 365 Days of Gaming. I appreciate you taking out time to check out this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Much appreciated in advance. So today's game, we are getting back to the RPGs. Again, there's going to be a lot of those, so we got to start knocking these down as we go through this list. And I wanted to show you one that I felt like was the best handheld RPG that I've ever played. And I'm only going to show you the first game in the series just because I want to I don't want to show you too much. If you have the option of playing this game, I want you to do what you got to do to check this out. So I'm talking about, for the Game Boy Advance, Golden Sun. Now, if you're familiar with the Golden Sun franchise, right? The Game Boy Advance, one of the best handhelds in my opinion of all time. And Nintendo decided to go with Camelot Games, and they were going to make this RPG, and it's one of the coolest concepts for a take on a time frame that a lot of RPGs do. I call it the Zelda time frame, the high fantasy, Middle Earth type of time frame. And I always see like a lot of stuff try to do this time frame, and a lot of times it's decent. They do stuff where like there's a certain level of technology that's involved that kind of doesn't make sense based on like how people are living, the houses and stuff like that. But this one, what they did was people have the ability to use psychic abilities. Like everything is based on alchemy, right? Which is like the four elements. They come together to have different things that they can do, shape the world, things like that. But like the psychic ability is really different and really cool, because usually when they use psychics, it's always like futuristic and stuff like that. But this is there's no electricity, TV, stuff like that, but we have these psychic using people. And you start off in this village of Vale. You play Isaac. Of course, you have party members. You got your best friend, Garrett. It starts off tragic, unfortunately. And, there's a lot of loss early on, which was kind of, par for the course for RPGs. There's always some sort of tragedy that starts the game off, where your character's forged in tragedy, born in tragedy, however you want to put it. But this game has a lot of humor with it, a lot of honesty and a lot of realism as far as like how these characters react. Sometimes in these games, I always felt like, people don't react that way. But then I thought this game did a really good job, even setting the tone on such a down note of making it seem like this is how people really would react if you had to be in this time frame where you relied on yourself but others to essentially form a life. This is a village, so you see how a village would work. But then you get to the actual story of dealing with the effects of people, of course, trying to take the magic abilities or these stones and use them for evil, is obviously right. Then they have this thing that I don't really show you a lot of, but they had this kind of creature collecting aspect with the Djinns. So there are different elements, right? You have fire, earth, water, and wind, right? And they create everything else. But they have all of these Djinns, which are like Pokemons for each element, right? Just to keep it kind of simple, I'll just say they're like Pokemons. But they're certain ones that you're going to have to discover throughout the world. And eventually, if you play the second game, which was really cool, you could take your save from the original game and then go to the second game and have all of the Djinn that you collected in the first one, and then you have all of the Djinn total, and your powers grow the more you collect it. Like it starts to basically be like summons. And at first, you get the basic ones where if it's a fire element, it does a little fire attack. If it's an earth one, it makes some rocks come up, waters, it'll splash stuff. But then as you collect more Djinn and you get more, powerful, they start to form like these elaborate summons to where you're calling down meteors or you're summoning tidal waves. And being on the Game Boy Advance, having that level of RPG on a handheld was, one, at the time unheard of, but like it was so well crafted and such a fun game. This is many a bus rides, going through and playing and trying to level up and grinding and finding Djinn. And we come to school and I'm asking my friends like, hey, have you found the one over here? If you're in this one cave or this temple, you got to do this. And, it's an optional one. You don't have to get it. Did you get that one? And just, trying to level up my characters, get through the story. The game isn't one of it's not a hard RPG, right? But it's definitely one that you cannot take lightly. Some of the enemies, as you progress, they coming for you. You know, especially when you start to fight some of the evil boss characters of the game. Another thing this game does is essentially, like, as you get your party, you basically have an evil counterpart, not like a direct like mirror reflection, but you know, there's basically 4 members in your party. There's going to be like 4 main evil people, and you kind of go from there, right? And this was a super popular game, especially for the Game Boy Advance at the time. And then all of a sudden, we get to like the DS and the 3DS, and we never got another one. Now, I'm not too familiar with the specifics as to why we didn't get another one. All I'm saying is we never got another one, and I really wanted another Golden Sun. We didn't even get Golden Sun characters as playable characters in Smash. Yeah, they made an Isaac Assist trophy, but that does not count, okay? All of the characters they put in that game, we could have gotten one Golden Sun character, just one. You know, just give us Isaac. He's the main character. He looks kind of like not Squall, but Ramza from Final Fantasy Tactics, which is another reason I liked him, right? But this was a great game. Another RPG that gave me hours upon hours of fun, so I wanted to shout it out. And if you've played this game, what are your thoughts on the Golden Sun? First one, second one, franchise as a whole, and how do you feel about the fact that we haven't gotten another one? Would you like to see another one? Love looking at reading the comments and, you know, seeing on your thoughts, so I appreciate that. And as always, have fun, be safe,